So anyway, do you want to go off on a tangent about us and about how we patch things up and who we are, shit like that?
Well, basically, as far as like our war that we actually had was just perspective and just continuous just junk. But basically, right now, me and XboxRainbowMods have formed an alliance. The war on terror is pretty much when you come down and deal with it. It's basically just website stuff. Not very many people really know what that is. Basically, it's electronical like gathering, social gathering. I guess I have no way to actually define that simple terms. But if you guys are curious, basically me and Xbox XRM, we've patched things up a little while back ago, and basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to move forward instead of backwards, and try to actually accomplish something that's actually really really cool. So look forward to that. But basically through this whole entire interview, we've been kind of showing Atlantis in descriptions. I've got a 5-minute video, but it doesn't quite explain everything in detail like I did. Like it was actually.
Yeah, and it's different. It's a lot different when you're trying to show your map when you have someone else tagging along with you. Because when you're walking around explaining it, you act as a host, and so the whole presentation is a little bit better, depending on your cameraman,
Well,
which
I
is me
mean,
right now.
well, sometimes like the biggest problem is like when you're doing your own recordings is that sometimes you don't really go into details and explain. But the really good thing that we actually have here is like we can actually sit here and talk about stuff and look around, and you have to admit that when you're watching, going through the whole process, the whole theme of Atlantis, you get that feeling like this is like oh shit, like this is actually real. It's got that surreal effect, and so you're very sucked in very quickly. And basically, through this whole entire process, we were trying to put out a video that basically, kind of showed that really, that me and XRN were pretty much like basically just letting you guys know. But in actual reality, though, I will say that, we pretty much really weren't really ever working each other entirely. We were just basically, pretty much.
You know what blew it out of proportion? I tell you what really blew it out of proportion. It's kind of like it was all hearsay. Someone would come to me and be like, "Oh, blah blah blah, saying this," and I'd kind of ignore it, and then someone else would come in and say, "Blah blah blah, he's saying this." And I'm like, now I'm getting a little irritated. And then I'm sure the same thing happened with you, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So then we got all these people telling us different things, and instead of us talking, and
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. It's in the past now. It's just stupid.
I don't even want to look back to the past because honestly, it's just there's so much heartache. It would just be insane to try to forgive and forget. It's just better to just kind of like let go and try to move forward to a much better future. Because when you sit down and think about it, all this fighting, all this resentment, it has no value. Would that be the right term of knowledge?
Yeah, I think that's the right term. There's no value really in it. It was just like
It was just all
it was a big
like,
mess.
just crap anyway. Yeah, mess. An exhausting mess. How about that? It's just because it was just constant, never-ending, just fight, and it was very disgusting. A lot of YouTube people are probably going like, "Oh man, that's what I kind of live for. I live for that kind of action." But in actual reality,
the drama?
it was very well, yeah, because of the drama. But I really hated it because I don't like that immaturity, stuff, and it really does aggravate me because of the fact that, well, like the problem is, a lot of people like to say, well, you're immature and stuff like that, but the unfortunate problem is when we're dealing with little kids that are actually that's our main supporters. I mean, that's who is our supporters.
Well,
you know
what?
Yeah,
no. The thing with me was, and I get trolled for this all the time for selling mods to people, but it's like only the people that wanted to pay me for my time, really was what it was. So I knew how to do something. They pay. So the majority of the people that would buy mods for me, they were my age. They were in their late 20s, 30s. They had kids, and they saw my videos or they saw your videos, and they were just like, "Hey, could you make me some mods for? I beat this game, and I just want to have some more fun with it. It's pretty much boring now, and I see how cool the mods are. I want some mods." So I'd make some mods. And then I get these assholes start trolling me, and then they were trolling you and trolling fucking everybody. These self-righteous pricks, I'd be like, they just don't understand, you know? So, like, after you're
What the
done
hell
beating a
can they
game,
understand?
what else there is there to do than just, you can,
No, there isn't.
yeah, so.
You know, like, legit only goes so far. I would, you know, I don't know if you remember, but back when I was playing the game, I played it legit, and I would hardly ever use a mod. But then, you know, I started using mods because, like, you know, after a certain point in the time, what really kind of led me towards mods, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was trying to get the demo, so then that way I can get on the demo to go play with my friends, because you couldn't play the demo in the actual fully unlocked game. It was kind of really stupid.
Yeah.
So basically,
Hey,
which,
John,
I mean, you gotta,
TMK, real quick.
yeah.
Just a little advice for machinima type stuff. When you talk every once in a while, could you nod your head a little bit? Because I'm looking at you and it looks really weird when you're talking and your head just, you're like this for a half hour.
Yeah, stick figure. But yeah, it's one of those things, like, you know, pretty straightforward. But
See, that's a lot
anyway,
better. That's a lot better. Yeah. So anyways, you're saying? Sorry, I just wanted to make it more interesting.
Yeah, no, I got you. It just basically, you know, when it started for me was like basically when I was like, you know, I basically get the demo for the actual Dungeon Defenders game, and then basically what started me modding was pretty much like I had level 70s, believe it or not. I actually had a couple of level 70s, and basically those characters got like deleted because of the demo. The demo like messed up with it because, you know, you were transferring saves and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it ended up like destroying my whole entire save. So then basically I had to start back from over. It didn't even let me do a backup succeed because it just was gay like that. And so basically I just got really pissed off, and I just searched up on Dungeon Defenders on Audio, and then it just took off from there. And you know, basically I wanted to start learning how to do my own mods because, you know, I could see that, you know, these guys were able to do so much more than downloading a game save. And then it was like, oh man, I got to get into this, you know. And then also I heard about, you know, people being able to make this into money, you know, Microsoft points and stuff. And I was like, and back then, you know, you really couldn't find a modder.
Yeah, I remember those days. It was very rare that you'd run into someone that could mod.
A real legit modder,
yeah.
Because that's another thing too. A lot of people were phonies, and you know, they would actually have a modded weapon, or basically,
or they would have the 360 Haven crap mods that would disappear. Right.
Yeah, I'd have all those. Like, I remember those people. Like, they actually took the actual modded save and actually just renamed it. I remember, or took the code and actually copied it and they put it on a different weapon. I've seen that before, and it was the exact same code and stuff. I was like, oh, that's hilarious, copy and paste. I got onto this one kid big time on that one because I was like, oh yeah, you're trying to fool me, but that's not working. So yeah.
Yeah, but I remember those days. I forgot there was a guy. I forgot his name, but he was legit modder, and he would sell one mod for 1,600 Microsoft points. One. You remember those days?
Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, because like they would just be like, you know, straight up about that. You know, I remember back then it was really hard to find even one or two modders, and to even have them on your friends list, it was just like very tough to come by. So.
And then when they made the whole, when Cyber Sam at 360 Haven made that, oh shit, what the hell is that thing called? The stupid.
The Eternia Crystal.
Yeah, they made it Eternia Crystal and just kind of fucked it up for, I don't know, modding became.
But it's just because the kids are always looking for a way to mod, and they're thinking instead of paying for it, the best way.
Yeah,
to
and
do
that's cool and everything. It's just you get the wrong people with that. When you make it too easy, the wrong people get a hold of it and they just fuck it up. Like, I was really discreet. I mean, I do videos and I popularize it, but I didn't really show people, like, I wouldn't even show you, like, remember that, the serial code thing? I didn't even show you that, which I probably should have.
Right.
You know, that was a contention between us a long time ago.
It's not a big deal. I look at the past and I go, you know, F the past.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, we know,
by the way,
we know all these little tricks. We know all these little tricks for that game because we modded the crap out of it, and then you got these little.
I know everything about that game.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
very few things that I don't know about. I pretty much mod that game to the max. I mean, in like further than that, and basically, you know, I actually grandfathered a lot of stuff, and you know, a lot of these new modders, and you know, everybody looks at Militia going like, you know, oh, Militia's so great, so great. Man, I'm gonna tell you a little story about Militia.
Hey, can we go where there's more light, like over to the mountain?
Oh yeah, that's good. Teleport. Look at the view. It's amazing.
There we go. That's better. Okay, you were saying?
So basically, Militia. Not very many people even really know, but actually, he turned out to be a complete douche, and
what happened?
Like his type of person. Basically, you know me. I'm basically very, very big, and especially in the dungeons. You know, like, I mean, I've grandfathered a lot of stuff, and then basically, first off, he comes up to me asking, you know, remember when you did the weapon swap? Well,
yeah, when I put like a lightsaber on a monk and all that shit.
Yeah,
or vice versa,
like
like
basically you put it
I
on Squire,
put a lightsaber on a apprentice, stuff like that.
But I mean, it's basically like it's like making the stack pets, but only instead you're actually doing it on characters on weapons, so it's really ironic.
Oh yeah,
but
sorta.
But it's basically the same kind of concept, just different engineering. But anyway, so basically he was asking me back and forth. Like, he came up to me and he asked me, and I was like, I already figured out how to do it somewhat, and I didn't put in the effort to figure out a way to do it like pro yet. So basically, he just kind of tells me, hey, you know, like, you know, if you show me the stuff, then basically what I'll do is like, you know, I'll give it back to you or something like that. And I was like, well, you know, just let me know. You know, I told him, I said one thing, I'll give you everything I know about how to do it. I'll tell you, you know, everything, and basically, just come back, give me the info, like, on what you figured out. So he goes off. I tell him exactly how to do all the, you know, the pets and the weapon swapping, and basically he comes back and he actually, you know, has it fully decked out, and then, you know, it's kind of showing it to me, like, strutting his stuff, and then basically he does. I asked him, I'll say, okay, so how did you do it? You know what he said?
What did he say?
Sorry, man. Me and my friend, we worked really hard on it, and we made a promise to each other, a pact, that we weren't going to show anybody about this. And I was like, what? I'm like, you know, like, I mean, that basically just kind of shows that, you know, I told you, if you go and figure it out, you know, you have to come to me because that was our agreement. And he agreed. And I was like, what the hell? I think that just shows how much character he has. He's low as far as I'm concerned. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but, you know, he may have came up with that, you know, that pretty much the towers glitch, which I know that he did. But I do know that he also had somebody there with him simultaneously working on that same kind of sort of spectrum. He was the other guy to the face, and I actually met him, and he's actually one of my friends on the friends list. And he's actually a pretty cool guy. And basically, well, this militia guy, you know, basically, you know, he's just straight up asshole and a prick. And basically, you know what's sad? You know what's really sad about this whole thing?
What?
He doesn't like me because I like to build game saves. So he would never give me anything because he was afraid that I was going to put it on a game save and it become bastardized. Well, get this. Later down the road, he actually shows my apprentice that I'm actually training, shows him how to do the whole freaking glitch, makes him swear to not show me. I'm like, are you crazy?
What an asshole,
like,
man!
Oh my god.
Fuck.
I'm like, dude, like, and then also on top of that, he shows them how to do the towers glitch. After it got bastardized because he showed somebody, Militia stupidly showed somebody, and then that guy went around started going like, oh yeah, I'm the new king, you know, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, here's the
let me say this. Let me stop you for a second. Let me say this. You don't go around saying you're a king of a game after somebody else taught you something. You only go around saying the king of the game when you have learned everything and you've figured out things that no one else has figured out, and you've done things no one else has done of your own without anyone helping you. That is when you're king. That if your apprentice went around and like, oh, I'm king of this game now because Militia taught him something.
Well, no, Militia, no, like Militia was the one who was like running around thinking he was the king, but then ironically, the glitch, I thought it was definitely the best thing that ever happened to Dungeons, but at first, and then I started looking around at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this whole glitch is completely stupid, because let me tell you something, what a lot of people don't know is that towers glitch actually screws up the actual game schematics. So
well,
when
here's what it does so many, I forgot what you call it, but basically it'll crash your game because it's doing too many computations at once for the Unreal Engine to handle it with the hardware of the Xbox.
The duplication,
I can't tell you how many times I pushed the limits with towers of all different kinds and end up crashing the game. Soon as the horde numbers are, let me rephrase that. As soon as the wave numbers went over,
horde,
like 200. As soon as it went over 100 or 200 mobs per wave, it would just fucking fry the Xbox to where it would freeze.
Oh yeah.
And I would also freeze the Xbox in that game by spinning around with the Huntress with the 3 projectile weapon that was set, the projectile set really fast. Spin around, game froze. You know, so.
Yeah. Well, like, as far as like corrupting weapons, like I've actually built some pretty good ones, like freeze corrupting weapons that don't actually corrupt, but they actually like freeze up. One bullet just kind of like nukes them. It's awesome. But anyway, it's actually a scare tactic. So like if they don't like, you know, anyway, but we won't get into all of that. But anyway, Militia, back to, you know, basically, you know, simply putting that the glitch is actually kind of stupid because basically, as you were saying, that, you know, it really just pushes the, you know, the game's limits really hardcore like. And so basically with that much knowledge, but there's also one other problem, one side effect that not very many people really saw. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people ran into this problem, is that you have to re-download the game save if the glitch gets, like, if you change weapons, armor, etc., the towers will start, like, you know, like, going into, like, a self-destruct mode. Because what people don't know is that, you know, the glitch, yes, the towers can't die, but get this, if you alter it by putting on some different armor or different pet or a different weapon, you basically effed your entire glitch. Now you got to re-download these saves entirely. Okay, well, I don't know about you.
I know what you mean. Well, see, what would make the glitch work is that if you had modded armor and one modded pet, and sometimes maybe a modded item, depending on where you set the your mana to.
Yeah.
Your mana limit,
like,
or
your
your
unlimited towers. But,
right.
I mean, the unlimited towers is the only thing that you really even want. And honestly, the glitch is, I mean, in my opinion, really overrated. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if you had that for a specific save. So then that way, I actually found, you know what the best save ever is? The one that is foolproof. The one that never breaks, one that never goes away, and it also never, like, all of a sudden out of nowhere it does like an automatic corrupt. Like, you check out every game save that Don't Name the Man that you download, especially on Audio, it's pretty much all gonna corrupt in a matter of a second or two. Yeah, you know, like depending on what game you're playing.
Well, it depends on how they modder their weapons. Yeah, I try to make mine, my XboxRainbowMods saves. I've released, like, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 that weren't customized, that were just generic, where, you know, I didn't alter the serials. I made them public. So mine wouldn't. I don't think yours. I don't know what you did, but I did on some private saves make some corrupt weapons and stuff like that. But I was very self-conscious about not including self-corrupt weapons in any of my saves. And I don't think you did that either, did you? Like, you kind of kept the corruption weapons out of your saves.
Well, like, you mean like as far as, like, you know, making like a 120.
So for example, you take the apprentice's staff and you make it max size, or you take the huntress weapon and you make it max size. So as soon as you press trigger, it's an instant freeze on whoever's host.
Freeze.
Yeah.
This doesn't corrupt though. That's the only problem.
Well, it can't corrupt if they're in the middle of saves. What I would well, I only did this to people that really pissed me off. What I would do is I'd go in, I'd drop a pet to force a save in their tavern, and as soon as that happened,
audio save,
I would corrupt, and it would,
Well, I tried that and it didn't work for some reason. Like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be saying this on broadcast, but oh well.
No, it's cool. I mean,
Hey,
I'll
man,
admit to
you got a beta
the
test.
skeletons in my closet. You know,
Yeah,
I've
skeletons in the closet.
yeah.
Look at the the mask. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I mean, I'll be honest with you. There was a period of time where I went on like a rampage because there was a lot of kids. They were coming up on my YouTube and they're just, I mean, belligerent assholes. Would be the number one word to say, and I hate to say a cuss word especially on air TV because a lot of people don't like to watch TV if they have cuss words in them. But anyway, the main number one thing was that they would come up and it just really pissed me off, and the whole Dungeon Defenders thing was really irritating me. So I actually walked into a couple of taverns, and I had like the corrupted save. I actually built the corrupted save, and basically I walked in there and I was like, get out of my tavern. And it was his tavern. I mean, it was their tavern. I was like, get out of my tavern. It was like, kind of like, what? And then, of course, this kid, he, I've been watching him. He's been actually going around corrupting people. And so basically, I just kind of like, had him on my H list. And I walked in, and I was like, yeah.
You know what my favorite thing to do was, though, concerning that? Remember how I made my save with the nice setup tavern, other than that stupid shield I made too big? Remember that?
Yeah.
I would purposely make the weapons as soon as you picked them up, they're locked to your game save. And so I would leave my tavern unlocked and let people come in and just take everything, and then they would never be able to sell it, they'll never be able to drop it unless they're a modder. And so it kind of teaches people like, ha 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 ha, that's what you get for taking shit without asking, you know?
Yeah.
So I would do that on purpose. I would just I would host, public lobbies. They'd come in, they'd go nuts because they see all these mods with the open tavern, 60 mods on the floor, and they'd be like, snap, 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 snap. Oh, I'm glad you took care of that. And then a couple seconds later, I exit, and a couple seconds later, I got a brand new game save, so.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much like that.
I don't know if anyone else did that. I think I might have been the first person to do that. I don't know. Maybe.
But you know what I would do is I would make it to where that you couldn't sell
I did that.
Item, like the save.
You couldn't sell it and you couldn't drop them. They were bound to your character.
Well, I made it to where you could drop them, but like you couldn't sell them because I had a lot of crazy kids. What they would do is that they would always come up to me like, "Oh man, I sold my mods. I don't know what happened. I just sold them."
Oh, so you would make it so they can't sell it anymore, right?
Right. It was more of like a safety crutch, and a lot of people hated it because they couldn't sell it to get the mana, because usually that's what they like to do with it. Well, the biggest thing is, about the mana glitch. I mean, anybody can tell you that. I mean, it's really easy. You just drop a weapon right before the, begin phase and the end phase start, and then you pick it back up right before it's doing the end phase, and all of a sudden, like, you pick the weapon back up, and then basically get the mana. And so, like, if you sold it. So it's really cool. Keep your weapon, get your mana, and do it like that. So that's the reason why that I went ahead and, made it to where they, you couldn't sell them. A lot of people didn't like that, but honestly, it was free mods. You can't complain. If you can complain about free mods, then that's just crazy. That's absurd. And it's like, you shouldn't complain about it because you're getting it for free. So it doesn't make any sense why you would complain. That to me is like, that's the stupidest thing. It's like beggars can be choosers. What? It doesn't make any sense. It absolutely doesn't.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the first mod that you ever gave out for free in mass production?
Oh, shit.
A hard question.
You know who you're talking to? Oh, man, oh, my God. I remember I was the J-Master 00 before I was the ModderKing, and it was funny, too, because there was this one kid, he was, I changed my name to the ModderKing, and there was this one kid, he was like, you remember the J-Master, you ever heard of the J-Master 00? And I was like stunned, I couldn't believe it. I was like, true story, I'm not making this up. And then, like, I was just sitting there just out of shock, and I had this belligerent asshole kid that was basically going like, this is the J-Master 00, and I was like, I was just
oh, you want to kind of enjoy the moment. Yeah, you wanted to hear what he had to say.
No, I was just stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, what? Like, I'm actually famous with the JMaster00. Are you kidding me? Like, and then I must have ran into him. You know, who knows? You know, gave out a bunch of mods. Who knows? But anyway, it was just really funny. And then, but I know that I was the JMaster00, and I actually have a couple of my saves that I actually used to when I first started modding. A lot of people don't even know this, but I will tell you this right now. I never learned how to mod on DDD, whatever you want to call it, and basically I never learned how to mod by copy and pasting. I never started that way. I always started the hard way, which was actually putting the code in individually, and that's how I was able to learn how to write my own codes and stuff like that. A lot of people don't even know that. They was like, "What? Write your own codes? I don't understand." Well, it's all mathematics, so why not? Why not make your own codes? You know, like
I would
Sam,
actually, I
you know,
got
like
really
the
tricky with it. I actually embedded a message in my weapon colors. So I would brand my weapon
oh yeah
colors.
yeah yeah
Remember, it would spell Xbox Rainbow Mods. It would be like XRM, and it would still be a badass color. But every other byte that didn't matter, as far as like the last two bytes of a color section. So like the red channel one, and, you know, it's a 4 byte string, and the last two
yeah.
bytes. If I'm remembering correctly, man, it's been a while, but I was all kinds of creative. It's fun. It's addicting. Once you learn how to mod and open up Hex Workshop or open up the
Yeah.
hexadecimal code, and you're able to mess with unencrypted code and then re-encrypt it, or rather rehash it. It's fucking awesome. It's so much fun to see the results and to see your creativeness come out with the weapons and items you make.
Hey,
At least
just a
for me.
quick question. How many times do you take out your flash drive when you're modding? Like, how
Oh
many times do you take out your
fuck.
flash drive and put it on? That's
I had like 10
stupid of a
flash
question to
drives.
ask.
I had 10 flash
I
drives.
know. I have a 16 gig. I have a 4 gig. I have an 8 gig. I have no idea. I've lost track of how many flash drives I actually have. And you know what's funny? There was just one kid, or I know that's not one kid. There's actually a lot of kids who actually come up and start, and you know, they'll tell me, I don't have a flash drive, or what is a flash drive? And I'm like, what?
Well,
Like,
the only time
everybody
I've
in
ever
America.
heard what is a flash drive is from just like some random really young kid who's like 8 or 10. But like anybody
Right.
14 and up, if they ask me I've never had anybody 14 up ask me what a flash drive is. Because as soon as they ask that, I'm
Right.
like, how old are you? I'm 8, I'm 10. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, a flash drive is a thing that you store memory on. It's like, you know, the size of an eraser, you know, a school eraser, like the
Well,
square
don't you
erasers.
use it for the Xbox? I mean, come on. Everybody who's got an Xbox has got a flash drive. I mean, think about it. I mean, who on this planet doesn't have a flash drive? If you can't afford it or it broke, I understand there are scenarios that actually happen that I've actually I've lived. You know, I mean, I've got stories of like what happened to my flash drive. If I had $1 for every time I heard a story of what happened to my flash drive or my game, my video game that they're disc games, their family member or their dog would eat it or tear it up, or it won't work because it won't read. Oh man, I got endless stories that are just baggage. It was funny too because I was talking in a party and I was like, you know, bringing up the factor that, you know, like I pretty much like, you know, work on the Xbox. I wake up in the morning and I like pretty much like, you know, go to work on the Xbox, and they're like
Speaking
these
of
guys are
which,
sitting there.
it's 4 in the morning right now. How long have we gone on?
Oh wow,
Like,
I have no
we
idea.
got on Skype at what, like 2:30, and then we decided to go on Xbox
Give or
Live for the
take.
first time in like forever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like Xbox, the first time that me and XRM has actually gotten on Xbox Live Party, it's been since the dawn of the reckoning, I would say. Oh man, I miss playing World of Warcraft. Oh my god. Shit, I had to fucking say that.
Yeah, I
Some
think
awesome stuff.
I think a couple months after Dungeon Defenders came out was the last time we were in an Xbox Live party together willingly.
Yeah,
Willingly, let me
yeah,
put it that way.
yeah. It's been a long time since me and him has actually been in a Xbox Live party talking, for that
Yeah.
matter. And then on top of that, like, you know, we've been talking on Skype for about a while, but it's mostly technically, you know, this is actually the first time we've actually gotten in an Xbox Live party. So that's the reason why we're bringing that up. So it's kind of weird, kind of a little like odd, but yeah, it's pretty much like that. You know what's surprising to me is that for some reason, the servers, the Xbox Live servers, have actually been kind of comfortable and casual. I mean, this is the first time where it's not been kicking me out of the party immediately.
Well, my internet is like I'm on a very fucking fast internet. I think that's our connection's really solid. Plus, Microsoft has been upgrading their servers, so that might be it too. But at least on my end, I haven't. At least on my end, I have UPnP set up, and so it's open NAT.
But just remember that the issues have been like that since yesterday, like, you know, because of the fact that, well, I was going into a party and immediately I was, like, kicked out, or like, the whole entire party lags out. I think it's just because there's only 2 people, and I think that's the reason why. It only makes logical sense because, you know, if you try to get on Xbox Live on the party, it doesn't matter if you have a really fast connection. Not anymore, apparently, because, you know, Xbox is just kind of, like, crap now.
Well, it's not just the speed, yeah, it's the quality of your connection, your QoS, quality of service, from your ISP, right?
I just wish that we could build a company where, like, we could actually make your actual connection, like, you know, like have dedicated servers or something like that, to where we could actually, like, you know, I just wish that it was actually possible to actually boost your connection. And, you know, kind of like how, like, you know, booters work. I don't know if you guys really know about that on the air and on TV, but anyway.
I can define it real quick. A booter...
Yep.
Okay, real quick, viewers. A booter is simply this. It's also called a stress tester. It's a way to flood a particular internet IP address with either UDP packets or there's also other types of different attacks. But basically, you flood a IP address with a ton of different connections, or just rather simply packets. You just bombard it with pointless, useless packets. And then it's up to the IP address, whatever is at the end of the IP address, to mitigate whatever is coming through. So that's called stress testing, or in other words, people use it negatively as in terms of a booter, which is to boot someone off Xbox Live, or to make it so they can't use their internet because of their connection can't mitigate all those packets that make no sense. Okay, go on, TM.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, in the way of sense, like a booter actually operates basically just by attacking your internet, okay? And basically what I was thinking is, wouldn't it be cool if you could do the exact opposite in the sense of attacking your internet? How about, like, take it and then boost it and make it actually stronger? Although, there's a problem. Problem is that there's no way to actually take somebody's actual internet and then boost it unless that you actually had like a supercomputer that actually works. I'm sorry, I cannot describe that. There's no way. I mean, I would lose you before I even explain what I was going to say. Basically, there's a thing called a temporary server that will actually work as a booster. But get this, it will only boost it so much, and it's very little. So it's not like, oh yeah, it's going to boost it up to 5,000 RPM, you know, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not going to give you that much more faster connection. In fact, you'd be better off by just getting better Ethernet cords that are like higher quality, to where that they basically, they're like lightning fast, and then getting a really fast router and, you know, stuff like that. But
well,
honestly, that's the best.
I personally would love to dump Ethernet and just go straight to fiber optics, but my ISP...
Oh yeah, fiber optics.
My ISP doesn't provide...
That's military stuff, you know that, right?
What?
The fiber optics is actually military. That's actually military grade stuff. Did you know that fiber optics is actually a firewall?
Yeah, I mean... The use of fiber optics has always been used in backbone internet hubs throughout, like, the...
Oh yeah.
Like... That's been used a long time. It's just the IPv6.
Oh, yeah.
IPv6 is what's been brand new. That the FBI incorporated that into their buildings and what have you. So.
Oh, no doubt. They've got the toys that would make us drool, but not probably a lot of viewers probably.
Maybe not
like,
as much as you think,
what?
though. I've heard. Well, I won't go into it, but I've heard stories to where just really intelligent end users, you know, citizens, have better equipment or better software than
well, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, it just comes to like
I mean,
what you know, you know.
They gotta beat. Well, yeah, because they're designed to like take down the government when you sit down and think about it. So they would definitely have like the best stuff ever. So that's kind of hands down. That's kind of like the situation right there. But yep. I mean, pretty much like it's like what 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Probably need to get off. You got school in the morning if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So it's like, well, actually it's morning, so that would be like, you know, right now. Like you get 3 hours of sleep. Oh yeah, great. 7 o'clock.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, you got an awesome world here. It's huge.
Yeah, I've been working on for years. I've got actually a couple more saves and stuff. I've got my legit world that I've turned into a creative map because it just was taking too long. I mean, legit, it's so hard. You have no idea. But I actually was able to make it somewhat actually like a creative map as well. But I was actually playing on that for like years and stuff. But it was awesome. For me to actually say that I actually played the most part of it was pretty much all legit. So it was awesome. Great thing to say. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, pretty much there's a couple other saves. I got an amusement park. I've got, you know, a lot of, like, I got a TNT mountain that goes, like, boom in the night. It's like, it just goes boom. I'm not kidding. I'll take it right for someday, you know, not today, but, you know, definitely sometime. So then that way,
yeah, we can live stream. We can live stream other maps later in your other maps. Viewers, you saw the first part, probably this video of TMK and I talking, but oh fuck yeah, it's raining. Check out, click this link right here to the right of the screen, and then that'll take you to show TMK's Atlantis video, where I follow TMK around for about a half hour while he hosts and shows us his entire map that he took about a year to make. So
yeah, like a year.
Yeah, check it out, alright? Check it out. It's over here on the right of the screen. Alright, so, yeah, cool, I guess, we'll wrap that up, huh?
Alright, man.
Cool, I'll see you later.
Dude, I want to play some Warcraft, man.